I'm Jimmy Lewis. This is Tenere vlog number, I don't know how many, and it's been a while. We've been riding other stuff. Some of those. But cleared up a little bit. There's some wet dirt, and we're gonna go ride the Tenere some more and tell you about some of our latest updates. It might be shocking. So in this update, we will be talking a lot about suspension, especially the shocks. I have a couple of different shocks from Touratech. Of course, that's the stock one. They've been coming on and off the bike, and we'll get into this. As we went along and did this, I'll tell you what the setups were. The setup number one was stock, and there's an earlier vlog that goes over what my best setting stock was. My second setup was the Touratech suspension, and it was their original shock that they had. They still have two different shocks, and it included the fork spring kit. So the fork spring kit, I put it in and installed with their oil and everything. And the third and final setup was the Touratech suspension with the JRZ shock, and it's slightly different internals. A remote reservoir that's mounted farther back for preload adjustment, which is right back out here. And that one ended up for me being my favorite. So you want to know how it works, huh? Well, it's so good that I'm actually riding one-handed right now, so suspension's pretty plush. In all of this shock testing, what I really learned was how good the stock Tenere is. It's not bad. Biggest problem, it's undersprung. So when you're riding it, if you are heavier, like me at 200 pounds, or you are riding it aggressively, woohoo, a little muddy out here today. It's gonna get really muddy right here. One-handed. This is poof dirt mud, even better. So, yeah, what you learn is it's just a little bit understrung. Really good for comfort, not good for aggressive or loaded up riding. And then when we started testing the other shocks, I was really afraid that we were just going to spring it and lose comfort. And that wasn't the case. The first shock we used was a little bit stiffer, or actually, I don't want to say a little bit stiffer, it was actually noticeably stiffer. I don't want to say quite a bit, because it never got to the point where it was too much. But with that shock, we lost some of the comfort that I really like on an adventure bike. And everybody thinks, oh, Jimmy, you're just some ex-washed up, go fast, wannabe racer again. Now, I actually really enjoy riding my adventure bike, like an adventure bike, just cruising. And I can do that with the other one. It just wasn't as good as stock in the beginning. So we played around with the clickers and got it good. It was Touratech standard suspension. We kind of relayed that information back to those guys, so they are able to, work on it. And it came in conjunction with a stiffer set of fork spring. And when we put the springs on, it balanced the bike out and everything got a lot better. So basically, when you're going with these other things, we went to a stiffer spring. And if you don't go to that stiffer spring, then you start having some balance issues. You get the bike balanced, the comfort comes back. So then we went on to the second shock, which is the one that's on the bike right now. And then over the course, we went back and switched around because I did a couple other things. I played around with the forks, the fork height, the fork settings, and the fork springs came with 10 weight oil. I went to 7 weight, and I thought I wanted more, and I went to 5 weight. Well, we'll say less. And so I'm ended up now, my ideal setting is with the forks. I'm running the forks at the
stock, actually the higher than what is stock oil level with 5-weight oil, so I'm getting a more of an air spring effect in there, so it remains that supple, and now it really matches the second shock. And the second shock, amazingly, had all of the, I don't want to hold it, had all of the bottoming resistance of the first shock, which was much better than stock. This is where both these shocks really improved. And it had the suppleness of the stock shock. In fact, for me, it was almost a little too wallowy, so I started playing around with the clickers, going in a little bit on compression, in a little bit on rebound. I actually opened the high-speed compression up to drop the bike down. So these little settings that I like to do that I know really worked wonders on this bike. And so now I'm super happy. I have super comfy adventure riding with that little extra safety built in. So if I do decide to, jump it into something, go a little bit far, land a little hard, or find that little ditch, I mean, it's still going to bottom out, and I can bottom this out. It's just probably got 30 to 40% better bottoming resistance. So there's the update on the suspension. Hopefully that gave you everything you need to know. And the dirt bikers are coming out to race with me, so I'll have to catch you later. So hopefully that's, you can hear that audio. If not, subscribe to my premium channel that I don't have, and you can just suffer through it. Production quality, you get what you pay for out here. You paid free, right? So here's the wrap. I'm gonna stick with this setup that I have right now. It's really good. It makes the bike actually a little bit more compliant and a lot better bottoming resistance. It still has that thing. I'm able to turn the clickers. Interesting thing about this shock is the rebound adjuster is backwards. So when you screw it in, you're actually freeing the rebound up. So it was funny because I was adjusting it, not knowing this, and then I'm like, hey, I'm not feeling what I should be feeling. It was like the opposite. It was, but I've got a really good setting. Super happy with the Tenere, as usual. Again, thanks to Yamaha for supporting this channel, this podcast, this whatever the heck it is. That's why you're able to bring me stuff. And man, ready to load it up and go for a ride.
If you liked what you saw in this video, come check us out over at dirtbiketest.com on the webs. We have bike tests, product tests, a lot of fresh dirt, and you can even support us by clicking through our links. Hopefully, we'll see you out in the trail.